Hi Crypto Kings and Queens, my name is Natalie. Welcome to this channel. I'm so happy that you're here. In today's episode, I will show you how important key levels is on Bitcoin. I'm not going to explain exactly how to do them, but I will just show you briefly how to use them when we have it on the charts. What I want to show you is how the market is respecting these levels and how we can use them right now looking at Bitcoin combined with demand zones, combined with Fibonacci levels. I will of course also show you what I think Bitcoin will do right now. I do have two different Fibonacci levels. We're also using a previous demand zone and we're using the key levels to see where the potential next target can be. Don't forget, I am no financial advisor. You need to look up everything yourself first, but please continue looking at this video and I'll show you how we can combine these wonderful technical tools together to see where the market is heading. We are starting off with the monthly chart, and I do have some key levels right here, as you can see, and I'm not going to explain exactly how to calculate them. The market is respecting these levels so much, and key levels is so good to use. So we go down to the 4-hourly right away because you can see more clear how the market is actually respecting these levels. So the market is bouncing in between, and you can see the reverses from them, and you can see that the market is drawn to these levels. You see the retest, etc, etc. So go back to where we are right now and how we can use them. We saw the market came back down to 38,370 on the higher time frames. Or if we go to the weekly chart again, you can see that the demand zone that I was talking about before, we closed exactly below 38,370 and we retested this level precisely too. If we're dragging this little box here so we can identify the demand zone, we came back down and retested so perfectly. As you can see, previous demand zone became now a support. We also had this resistance trend line that we did break from yesterday, so the market did create a higher high, because if we go to the lower time frames, we can go to the 12-hourly chart. You can see that the last lower high was around 38,546. So what we can do right now, because this is what I usually do, so I take a Fibonacci from the last low that we did have, in this case 37,710, to the next higher high that we do have at 39,670. This also gives me the key level at 38,317. Can you see how the 61.8% is just exactly almost combined with this level, and that is also the demand zone high level that we can see. If the market now is in a uptrend, or at least will continue back to the upside, because we can see overall that the market on Bitcoin is right now in a consolidation market. The market is ranging in between this support and this resistance right here. So if we go back to the 4-hourly chart, we know that we could potentially continue back up to 44,300, 45K, because this is the previous resistance. So support, market comes back down to the support just the way that we did here, and then market reverses back up to the resistance, and that is the exact same thing that we could potentially see at the moment. But now we're waiting for the market obviously to come back down and create the first higher low. And what I also want to do, I want to go down to the lower time frames, because we can use different Fibonacci levels, and if we don't respect one, we can see where the market is coming to, and we can see if Bitcoin in this case will retest the other one. So we're dragging a fib from this last low that we do have around 38,660 to the high at 39,840. You can see that we are right now heading back down to these levels, so we do have a pullback after the spike that we did have yesterday. We just might also see, who knows, we never know, you just might see the market now breaking inside. If the market would potentially close below the resistance trend line that we do have, that we broke from, that is definitely then all of these things that happen right here is just a fake out. But we're not focused on that yet, because first of all, we need to see how we will respect these Fibonacci levels. It does look like we can have a bigger momentum than just these levels, because you can see that we're starting to have a falling knife. But the first target that I look at when it comes to Bitcoin is 39,250. We can also come back to 39,115. If we see the market now potentially coming back to these levels, and you start to see the reverse to the the upside, in this case it would look like this, because when you see the market going down, the market will create lower lows and lower highs until we come to these Fibonacci levels, because just based on the whole trading, how it works, the market comes to the Fibonacci levels and respect them most of the time. What we're waiting for when the market, or if the market comes to these levels and starts to reverse to the upside, we need to break this resistance trend line, because as long as we are below the resistance trend line, we are still in a downtrend. So we need to break it, and that's when we do the same thing. When we see the break, we do have the confirmations that this could potentially be the beginning of the uptrend again. You're just dragging another Fibonacci from the low to the high, and that will give you the higher low. So that is the best confirmation for me to go into the charts, because otherwise you just might see the market trying to break these levels, and then you have the fake out, and then market continues back down. So that is why I like to use the Fibonacci when we see the break of the trend line. But say for example now the market doesn't care about these Fibonacci levels, and you see a bigger drop. We're using the one from the last low that we did have below the resistance trend line against the demand zone to the high again. So what we're expecting in this case now is to potentially come back down to 38,760 or 38,530. So from these levels, the exact same thing. You see the market potentially creating lower lows, lower highs. We come to these levels, and then you start to slowly see the market reversing to the upside. And we have the exact same thing. We're taking the resistance trend line and we're trying to highlight where the low high is. And then you can see the break of structure. You do this exact same thing. You drag the Fibonacci from low to high. The market will give you where the higher low potentially can be, and that's where I do have my entry for them to buy the market. Let's say if the market does this, it comes and respect the Fibonacci levels first of all, and then it just slams to the downside. I mean, that is totally fine, because when you have the strategy, you know that it works it works more often than like 50%. It's actually pretty good. So just trying to follow these, you cannot have 100% right all the time. It's pretty good to know that. It's totally fine. We can always learn from our mistakes, and that's the whole point with trading, to be honest. So we just might see the market now reversing back down. I'm not gonna do anything at the moment, because if I sell the market now, you just might see the market bounce to the upside from nowhere. So I'm just waiting for the market to come to these Fibonacci levels and see if we actually see the market creating the higher low, or if we actually see Bitcoin potentially break below this level. But when we go back to the key level that we do have right here, so say for example that we are reaching up to 40,370, you'll see the market potentially just start to break to the downside a little bit. But if we're breaking this level, you see the retest of 40,370, and you see the momentum up. That's when we're looking at 42,370, because if we go back in time, you can see that the market is always retesting these levels. You see the market goes from one level to another level. Even here, okay, zoom in, market is consolidation. You break to the upside, we retest 40,370, break, retest 42,370, we come back up to 44,370, comes back down to 42,370, returns back up, you go back down. See the break of 40,370 again. The market does the retest, comes back down, you see the bounce back up, the market is doing this all the time. So this is very fascinating. So this is the same thing that happens right here. So say for example that we now come back down to the 38,370 again. That just might be the pushback up, and then we're reaching 40,370. If we're breaking that level, we come back up to 42,370, etc. But from nowhere, if we see the market break into the downside, let's say we break 38,370 and start to see more momentum, well then we know 36,370 is also one level that we can reach, that we can look at. So these key levels is definitely something that I'm gonna start to use, because you can use them in different ways. I took it from the monthly chart right now, but you can use it on 15-minute chart, you can use it on 30-minute chart. As I told you, I'm not going to explain exactly how to do this now, but I just want you to know that key levels, and you round it up to round numbers, like for this example 370. We never have anything else than a zero at the end, and we always round up the numbers. So this is exactly how we can see the market at the moment on Bitcoin. We are just waiting for the market to pull back down, as I told you guys, and I'm gonna show you now what I did wrong yesterday. So yesterday I was in a sell position, but good enough, I took myself out before we saw the huge breakout to the upside. I was focusing on the wrong things yesterday, and we did have the Fed meeting, so the market had this huge spike to the upside. I didn't go into another trade. I was just, okay, you know what, I'm gonna leave it here. I don't like to trade the market when we have some fundamentals that can affect the market very much, so I just stepped out of it. I took myself out of the position, and now I'm just waiting for the market to continue back down. Don't forget that you can also receive the bonus on BYBIT up to $4,050 by using the link in the description down below the video. You're supporting me, you are supporting Bitcoinsensus by doing that, so I am always available for you. Thank you so much, guys, for looking at this video together with me. I did a little bit different now using the key levels, but it's definitely something that I will continue to use because it helps us so much. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification so you know when I am live or have my daily updates. Remember, tomorrow I will go on the daily live stream in the morning, 8 a.m. Swedish time, 1 hour before London session opens. I love these live session in the morning. I just love it. So don't forget to join me tomorrow. Otherwise than that, I wish you'll have a great Thursday. Mwah! For Sweden!